They charged my card $500 after I checked out $500 for smoking in the room. I don't smoke. I never have. And by the end of that day, the same manager who told me there's nothing we can do was refunding me and begging me to stop emailing corporate. At the time, I didn't even realize why they picked me. Later, I learned it wasn't about smoking. It was about how often people fold when a business sounds confident. Here's the curiosity gap. They didn't just accuse me, they claimed they had evidence and they acted like I should be grateful they were only charging $500 instead of calling authorities. That's what made it feel less like a policy and more like a shakedown. And the second they said the word evidence, I knew what I had to do. Not argue, not plead, pull the record. Fast context. I was traveling for a weekend trip and booked a mid-range hotel. Nothing fancy, not cheap either. The kind of place that sells itself on business-friendly and clean rooms. I was there 2 nights. I was alone. I had a tight schedule. I barely spent time in the room except to sleep and shower. I also don't smoke, I don't vape, and I'm extremely sensitive to smoke smell, which is why I always request a non-smoking floor. This matters. The first injustice happened after checkout. I checked out at 10:12 a.m., got my email receipt, dropped my keycards at the desk and left. At 2:47 p.m., I got a push notification, your card was charged $500. I assumed it was a deposit release glitch. Then I saw the line item smoking fee deep clean. I stared at it in my car like my phone was lying to me. Then I opened my email. There, it was an invoice addendum from the hotel. Housekeeping confirmed evidence of smoking in the guest room. Fee applied per policy. No photo, no details, just that sentence written like a verdict. I called the hotel immediately. Front desk picked up. I said, "Hi, I just got charged a $500 smoking fee. I don't smoke. This is a mistake." The person didn't sound surprised. That was the first red flag. No. Let me check. No, I'm sorry. Just housekeeping reported it. It's non-refundable. Non-refundable. Like it was a concert ticket. I said, "What evidence do you have?" She said, "We have documentation." I said, "Then email it." She said, "We don't send that, it's internal." I said, "So you can take $500 but you can't show proof?" She repeated, "It's policy." Policy. The favorite word of people who don't want to explain themselves. I asked for a manager. She put me on hold for 6 minutes, then came back and said the manager would call me later. I said, "No, I need this handled now." She said, "He's in a meeting." I said, "Then transfer me to whoever can reverse a charge." She said, "No one can reverse it once it's posted." That line was a lie. Businesses reverse charges all the time, they just don't reverse them when they think you'll accept it. Escalation started immediately. I emailed the hotel's general email with the subject line, "Dispute wrongful $500 smoking fee request evidence." I attached my receipt showing checkout time. I wrote 3 questions. 1. What specific evidence was found? 2. What time was it found? 3. Who entered the room between my checkout and the discovery? I also asked for the policy document they were referencing. 10 minutes later, I got a reply. Fee assessed per non-smoking policy. Housekeeping detected odor and residue. Odor and residue. Still no photo. Still no time. No names. Just vague words that are impossible to disprove unless you force the timeline into the open. Then I called my bank to flag it. Not to dispute yet. To create a timestamp. I may need to dispute a charge. Merchant is refusing to provide evidence. The bank rep told me to request documentation in writing first. I said, "Already did." He noted it. At this point, I had 2 options. Accept the $500 loss and move on, or make them prove their story. I knew why they picked a smoking fee. It's subjective. Smell can't be photographed easily. Residue could mean anything. It's the perfect accusation because most people can't disprove a smell. But they made one mistake. They claimed that evidence existed, then refused to share it. That means the evidence is either weak or fake. And weak evidence collapses when you demand specifics. Breaking point. I sat down and decided I was going to treat this like a case, not a complaint. If a business wants to accuse you like you committed a violation, you respond like you're building a file. Secret plan, step by step, revealed slowly. Step 1. I created a folder called Hotel Fee and saved everything: receipt, addendum, emails, call times, bank case note, screenshots of the charge. Step 2. I wrote a one-page timeline. Check-in time, check-out time, charge time, email times, every detail that could anchor reality. Step 3. I pulled my own receipts. I don't smoke, but I don't smoke is a claim. So I pulled things that show where I was and what I was doing. My restaurant receipt the night before, my Uber pickup log, the time-stamped photo I took at checkout in the lobby mirror because I liked my outfit. Stupid detail, but it anchored time and location. Step 4. I asked the hotel one question they didn't expect. Provide the keycard access log from my room for the entire stay, including after checkout. If you've stayed in hotels, you know keycards are tracked. Every entry is recorded: time card ID, staff master access. Hotels love to act like everything is mysterious until you mention logs. I sent that request in writing to the manager's email and copied corporate guest relations. I wrote, I dispute this fee. I request the keycard access log for room number from check-in through the time of discovery, including all staff master key entries. I also request any photographs, housekeeping notes, and incident report associated with this fee. No threats, just records. That's when the tone changed. The manager called me within an hour. His first sentence was, I understand you're upset. I'm sorry. Upset. Like my problem was emotion, not money. He said housekeeping, noted smoke smell. I said, I need the log. He said, we don't release internal logs. I said, then you're asking me to accept a $500 accusation without evidence. I'm not doing that. Provide your incident report, photos, and the time of discovery. Also confirm whether any staff entered the room after checkout and before inspection. He paused. Hope moment. That pause was the first sign he realized I wasn't a soft target. He said, let me look into it. I said, great, put it in writing. 2 hours later, he emailed me a photo. One blurry photo of an ash-like speck on a bathroom counter. No context, no wide shot, no date stamp, no proof it was my room. It could have been pepper. It could have been dirt. It could have been anything placed there. He wrote, this is the residue housekeeping found. I replied, what time was this photographed? Who photographed it? What camera device was used? And where is the accompanying wide shot showing it is in room number? Because real evidence has context. Fake evidence avoids context. He didn't answer those questions. Instead, he tried to pressure me. Our policy allows us to assess fees based on housekeeping determination. I replied, then your policy also requires documentation for disputes. Provide it. Also provide the keycard access log. If you refuse, I will dispute the charge with my bank and submit this documentation to corporate guest relations and consumer complaint channels. Still calm, still written. Now the escalation, he tried to flip it onto me. He said, if you proceed with a dispute, you may be banned from the property. Banned? Like that's a threat when I'm never staying there again. I said, noted, please provide the records. He didn't. So I moved to the payoff setup. I filled the dispute with my bank and attached the email thread showing refusal to provide evidence and the lack of time-stamped documentation. Then I did the other pressure channel. I submitted a complaint to the hotel brand's corporate guest relations with my timeline and one request: audit the keycard, access log, and housekeeping incident report. This fee appears fraudulent. Fraudulent is a strong word. I used it because the behavior matched it. Take money, refuse evidence, intimidate the customer. Payoff. The next morning, I got an email from corporate. Short, professional, we are reviewing your case and have requested documentation from the property. Within 2 hours, the hotel manager called again, and this time his voice was different. Smaller. He said, we're going to refund the fee as a courtesy. Courtesy. Again with the word that avoids accountability. I said, not courtesy. Refund because it's wrong. He ignored that and said the refund would post in 3 to 5 business days. I asked. One question. Did you review the keycard access log? Silence. Then he said, we don't have to discuss internal security. Internal security. Another dodge. But his silence answered me. Something in that log didn't support his story. Then the real karma twist hit, and it hit through a person who wasn't trying to help me. A housekeeper from the property called my phone by mistake later that day. She left a voicemail meant for someone else saying, room number was a problem again, smoking fee didn't stick last time. Didn't stick last time. I replayed it twice. Same room number, same phrase. That told me everything. This wasn't about me. It was a pattern. They were using smoking fees as profit, and sometimes it didn't stick when people fought back. I forwarded that voicemail to corporate. No commentary, just attached is a voicemail referencing repeated smoking fee attempts on the same room number. That's it. 2 days later, corporate confirmed the refund and apologized for the inconvenience. The hotel also quietly removed the smoking fee addendum from my folio in their system. My bank dispute was resolved in my favor. And a week later, I noticed the property's review pages had multiple new complaints about random smoking fees and charges after checkout. I didn't post those. I didn't need to. When a business runs a pattern long enough, the truth leaks out from multiple directions. Here's the lesson and why this story matters. Businesses count on you not knowing what to ask for. They count on you arguing about feelings instead of demanding records. The moment you ask for timelines, logs, and incident reports, the scam stops being profitable. If you ever get hit with a subjective fee, smoking, damage, cleaning, don't debate. Ask for the record. Ask for times, photos with context, and access logs. If they refuse, you've learned the most important thing: they're not confident in their own claim.